So, welcome everybody to AWL London's Language Teachers Show and Tell, hosted by me, Helen Myers, and Joe Dale as well, the Joe Dale. So we're asking you to take your seats. We're going to do some introductions, and you're all already doing it. It's great. I've put feel free to open your chat and introduce yourself. So I'm sure by this stage you know how to do that. You open up chat and say where you're from. It's so exciting to see you all. So this is the description of the session that teacher participants. So we're really focusing on teaching and practical things. So but from languages and from if you're teaching English as a foreign language, you're invited to speak for a maximum of 5 minutes. And I've put there 30 seconds is fine as well. It doesn't have to be 5 minutes, about your top tip for classroom practice. So that can include teaching ideas, people activities and resources. And I've put right from the start that there is a website and an address, which I'll give at the end as well, and I'll give frequently in chat, where we'll be collecting all of the ideas that people have given, and this PowerPoint will be there too. And we find that very often during a session, people will say, can I get a copy of this? Can I get a copy of the chat? And the answer is yes. So you can feel free as participants, you can say yes, and you can tell those people yes, and perhaps give them the link as well, if necessary. But certainly our idea is that we're going to get lots of ideas here and you'll be able to access them afterwards, which is great. So who are we? Who are the hosts and the panelists? So we're all associated closely with the Association for Language Learning's London branch. I'm the chair of that branch. I also happen to be on the management board of the Association for Language Learning, and I'm also a teacher. Joe, would you like to say who you are?
I would indeed. As it says on the slide, I'm an independent languages consultant and a member of AWL, and I know a little bit about technology as I've been sharing some ideas today in my 2 sessions.
Okay, we've also got with us Dr. Judith Rivers from Goldsmiths, and she's an ITT trainer, but also very involved with AWL, and she's going to be particularly looking at the chat to be able to make sure that everybody's comfortable and that we haven't missed anything vital. And Tanya, you can see there, who is... she's waving at you. She's the person behind writing. If anybody offers anything, she's going to be putting it onto a spreadsheet, which I can see over here, and then we can gradually go through the offers. If you're a member of the Association for Language Learning, please could you now say that in the chat and tell people that they should join. And because we're worldwide, it seems, if you're a member of any subject association, perhaps you'd like to write that in the chat as well. The chat will be saved, so you'll be able to use this as your advert. And look at that, I am with exclamation marks from Esmeralda, from Nick Mare as well. Great. So now we're coming to the process. How are we doing this? So if you're an attendee, that's all of us. Could you rename yourself? I've just thought, oh yes, I'm rename yourself if necessary, just so that we know who you are. Please feel free to use the chat. Don't use the QA for normal chat. We'll tell you what that's for in a minute. But we love the interactivity which is coming on here. And we've put here in particular, oh, and I've just put pictures in case you haven't found it. And if you've lost it, you've normally just got to fiddle with the mouse, and then these things appear. So you can chat, you can raise your hand, and you can do QA. But if you are really an attendee, just use the chat only, please. Add a Q perhaps in front of any questions you've got. We're not going to have time this evening to be able to ask the speakers to do a question and answer after their session, because we've got several sessions to get through. But it could well be then that the speaker will see your question afterwards and either answer it during this session or perhaps at another time. It's due to run for about an hour. The lovely Jonathan Scott, who you can see there, and it's all down to him that we can have this. So I think, round of applause to Jonathan Scott for organising this amazing event that we've got here. There he is sitting in his, I don't know, is it your kitchen or your, but there he is. I don't know if you want to say anything, Jonathan. Do you want to say hello to us? He's mouthing. We can't hear you at the moment, but anyway, we're very, very grateful. He's probably having to manage lots of other sessions.
I'm sorry, I should have turned my video off, Helen. I will now.
No, don't. It's fine to have you there, but really thank you ever so much on behalf of everybody. We're really, really grateful. So it's due to run for about an hour. In fact, we've been told that we can go on for pretty much as long as we like, because we're the last people in this room, but we'll probably aim for about 6:15, not later than that. If you need to leave early, no problem at all. That's fine. You'll be able to access the video afterwards. So this is the process that we set up for the show and tellers. Those of you who are prepared to show and tell us about something, this is what we'd like to do. Could you click on the raise your hand? if you raise your hand, that's telling Joe, who's behind all of the technical side of this side, he will then make you into a panelist, which means that you'll be able to present. You'll be able to open your mic if you want to, you'll be able to open your video if you want to, it's up to you which you want to do. And if you want to show your screen as well, you'll be able to do that. So if you could just, you put out your hand to say, yes, I'd like to present. Then what you do is you click on the QA icon. So it's only people who are wanting to present, click on that icon for the Q&A. And then could you write as a minimum, just write your name, and could you write what your top tip is, just a brief title. So if haven't got time to do any more than that, at least do that. If you could do, also it'd be nice to know how do you want to present so that we're prepared and we know if it's going to be audio or video, webcam, or if you want to share your screen. And just note at this point, if you want to share your screen, we do ask people, you've got to share computer sound, deliberately click on share computer sound if there's audio. If you don't want to share your sound and you're happy to have, say, Joe share his screen so that he can navigate through and you can talk to it, then include the link so that he'll be able to do that. And also it'd be nice to know where you're from and any contact details if we need to get in touch with you if somebody has got a burning question to ask you. So that's what we'll ask you to write in the QA. And then Tanya is going to transfer that to a document which we're sharing. And then I'll be able to go through and tick off to say, yes, people have done that. If there's anything you want to share, and we don't expect you to, it's your intellectual property, whatever it is you're doing. So we're not going to an open chat or openly say to you, can we have it? But if you are willing to, perhaps you could say that in your presentation, or send me whatever it is, and or send it to me, and then I can make it available from the website. So I hope that's okay. Have I made that clear enough, Joe and others? Is that?
Yes, all good, I think.
Okay, right. And I've got little pictures there as to what it's going to look like. And I've got a picture there of someone who very kindly did this last year. So there's Eleanor holding up one of her language stones. So next thing is that then I'm going to be overseeing the order in which people speak. So you can see I've got a little picture there of what normally happens, because we love doing this. We do it every year we do this. And normally I just get people to fill in a piece of paper, and then I call people by name and they come up to the front, and then it's one by one. So it's going to be a bit like that, except we're doing it electronically, and I'll manage the overall timing. So we've said try to make it not more than 5 minutes. So if I do say thank you very much, that's really good, that's really, that's code for, right, let's go on to the next person. So it's the thing where it could be very embarrassing, can't it, really? And we're always interested, but you'll understand that. And what I'll try and do is on a rolling basis, I'll publicly announce who's going to be the next couple of people. So because we've already lined up in advance some people so that I can then get my head around about anybody else, can I say at the moment then we're going to start off with Julia. So Julia's going to start off, and then who else have we got here already? Adeline, is Adeline here? Yes, you're going to be the second one. Esmeralda, you can be the third one. Is that right? So we know those three already, and then I'll announce the other people as they come through. We'd be grateful if you could be ready to speak at very short notice. If someone has tech difficulties, don't worry, we'll just go on to someone and then we'll come back to you. And I've already said it's going to be Joe who's going to be giving you the powers to be panelists. So you can use your microphone, webcam, and share your screen. Okay, so is that right? Okay, everybody? Joe?
Yep, all good.
Right. Okay, so I'm giving you now 20-second training for those people who are going to present, in case you may have used Zoom, but you might have not used the webinar format of it. So I've just done some screenshots. And because I hadn't done my hair at the time, that's why I've blanked myself out. Jonathan looked absolutely fine, but this is when we went through it. So what you'll see as a panelist, when you're converted to a panelist, I mean, first of all, you've put your hand up there, and that's where Joe then converts you into a panelist. So you'll see then here, this is where you're going to write in to say what it is you'd like to do. And then this is what Joe's going to do. He will promote you into a panelist. Okay. So that it'll just be that you'll appear as a panelist. Is that all right? For those of you who are panelists, is that explanation enough? Yeah, good. Okay. I've already covered this, that a lot of people, the big question tends to be, is there a PowerPoint? Is there something? So the session's being recorded and we'll collect any resources on a part of our website. And here I've already put together, this page is live already. So after we finished, this evening, I will straight away go and start putting anything there which we've already got. And there's a code that you can scan if you want to, and you'll have a copy of this. I'll put this in the chat, that we have a webinar page within AWL London. Click on webinars, and then within that, you'll see that there are forthcoming webinars which are all listed, and past webinars. And I've already put in that, it's webinar 102 is the one we're doing at the moment. So you click on that and it takes you to the page where everything is. Okay. And this is really just to tell you the things which are coming soon. As far as AWL is concerned, that we've got some webinars coming up on the 25th of November and the 1st of December. They're tilt ones. That's especially down to Joe and his amazing network of people that we've got those. And from AWL London's point of view, every first Friday we have a get together for people who are starting out teaching. We're going to have a Christmas party on Saturday, the 12th of December online, thinking it a bit sad that our actual staff parties perhaps have been cancelled. Well, let's all get together on that date. And also we're really delighted that we've got our January event coming up. Can't have it at the unfortunately the BFI. We've decided that really the social distancing wouldn't make it a very sociable event in a way, so that's moving online as well. And we're pretty sure that we're going to be getting Dr. Michael we're going to get Dr. Michael Wardle from Ofsted, and Judith Rowland-Jones from AQA, and Cara's going to do something on primary, and Nick, you're going to do something on job application clinic. So all of those things are coming up. So if you go on that link, then you'll be able to get access to all of these things. Joe, talk about what you've got to offer.
I would love to. So as I have mentioned in my two presentations today as well, I am available for remote teaching webinars or webinars around hybrid teaching. So in that amazingly cool Google Doc link that you've got on the screen, which I will be sharing in the chat in a moment as well, I've put together 18 example sessions. And in all sincerity, if you'd like me to help you either on a departmental level or a district level, or if you're in an association outside of the UK, then do let me know. I would love to help you during this time. And you have my contact details, and I will share that link in the chat right now as well. But let's carry on with the show and tell. I can't wait for this. It's fantastic.
Lovely. Okay. And can I just say, I've just looked at the Q&A and we've got some offers from anonymous people. So if you could just go back to that and then almost offer again, so that we know who you are, because otherwise we can't convert you into panelists. So we've got 3 people who are anonymous. So we've got to know who you are before we can convert you. Okay. Right, so just my last slides. Firstly, please be kind if things go wrong. This is technology, we're teachers, we're understanding. So, if you are a bit aggravated, please don't write it in the chat. Just be nice and kind and say, yes, we're understanding. All right, so please be kind about that. And then to presenters, please don't panic, because everyone's going to be kind. So if it doesn't quite work, it really doesn't matter at all. So no panic at all is needed. And finally, thank you in advance, because people are going to have to leave. I know during it, some of the presenters might have to leave before the end. Some of you might have to leave before the end. So in anticipation, thank you so much to the people who are offering to do this. It's really, really good. Absolutely delighted that people are offering that. So now it's over to you. As I said, already said thanks. We've said thank you to Jonathan Scott, who organised this. And I just thought I'd show you there a picture of some of our brave people from July. So we've got this in the Language Show Live, but AWL does do these show and tells regionally and also nationally as well. So, okay, so I think the first person who's going to kick off is going to be Julia Morris. So I shall stop sharing my screen now.
Okay, shall I take over?
Well, you take over,
no.
Yeah.
It doesn't let me while you're still sharing.
Nope. Okay. Right, so if you could just, this is one thing where I've now lost my bit to say how to stop sharing. That's a really good start, isn't it?
Well, you just said don't panic and be kind, so you can demonstrate.
Just slightly panicking though, that I can't actually find my stop share. My stop share. I've got all of these other things on.
Okay, now I can
found
share.
It. Yes.
There we go. Share. Here we go. There we go. Okay, good. So I'm going to talk about the Retrieval Roulette. I can't take any credit for it. So I have not really made this. Well, I haven't made it at all. It is based on an activity made by Adam Boxer, who's now making Carousel, the Carousel website, which I think Esmeralda is talking about later. And then it was kind of improved on by the teacher who runs Mr. Alsop's history blog. And then I kind of managed to combine it with Flippity as well. So different people doing different bits, really. So what it is for is to help you with retrieval practice in your classes, and it automates the whole process. So it's a big time saver. So the important elements in retrieval practice, I would say, are A, that you do it often, like every lesson ideally, and B, that you have a mix of older material and the current material. So you keep on revising the older stuff to keep it in the student's memory. And that is sometimes quite difficult to remember to mix it in or to have the right mix. So this can help you with it. It takes a while to set up the very first time, but then once you've got it, for the rest of the year or your life, you have all these activities at your fingertip, which is great. And you just need to adapt it a tiny bit every lesson. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. So it's based on this Excel spreadsheet, and which we're going to share the link to later. So I've got all my GCSE questions in here. So this is for the whole course of the GCSE. So from year 10 to 11, all the vocab pasted in. So there are, I don't know, 800 or 1,000 pieces of vocab in here. And when you paste this in, then make sure that it is numbered at the front here, because the spreadsheet will need this. But all you need to do is just number the first 3. And then if you highlight it and drag it down, it should number it automatically all the way to the bottom. Okay, so you enter your vocab. I've done it with a mix of English to German and German to English. So you see the first bit here, this is all into German, the family members, and then the second part is exactly the same, but the other way around. So it goes both ways. And I've also entered the topic here, so it's easier for me to find where one vocab list starts and the next one starts. And I've created a kind of table of content here. I've auto-generated it, so I didn't have to write it all myself. How to do that, you can find in the instructions to the site here, so I'm not going to go into that. So once you've set all this up and pasted in all your vocab, it then automatically generates lots of games for you. So for example, here is just a simple grid at first. And no, sorry, I need to go back a step. So the important bit is at the beginning of each lesson, you need to fill in this yellow box at the top here. So you've got students have studied up to question, start of question of the current topic and then the end of the current topic. So let's say we've got up to films. So I look in my table of content now. So films start on 140 to 166. So I put in 140 to 166. And 166 is also up to where we studied because it's in the right order. So if you're going through the topics in the order, the top and the bottom there should always be the same. Okay, so now I can go to my grid, and it has now taken random questions from those first 140 questions, but it has used a bit more of the current topic. So it's chosen the ones between 140 and 160, a bit more, plus a mix of old ones there as well. And it's really random. So I didn't have to write any of this. It just populates it from the question list, and I can refresh it if I click F9. You see it's now chosen a new lot of questions. So I can do that again, F9. If I don't like the questions for some reason, I can just tumble it up again. Each lesson, it has this new mix of questions. So this one is just a simple grid. You could use it for noughts and crosses or battleships, or you can just have it as a vocab test. So you could just tell the students, draw a grid in your books and try to translate as many as possible, and then they get points for each one they get right. And because I've got my list part English, part German, and then the other way around, the questions are mixed up as well. So Some are into German, some are into English. If you want something a bit more fun, you can use these other tabs. So there's Blockbusters. So you can put the class into 2 teams. One half is blue and they have to try to go down, and red has to go across. So they can just say one of the top sentences there. They might say die Kinder means the children, and then they get the blue covered up, and then orange needs to go across, and they need to try and block each other out. You can also play Connect 4, or you can just show a simple quiz. The great thing with all these games is that it also has the answers. So if I scroll over to the right, it will show all the answers. Oh, it's got us in the way though. So if you're doing it as a test, for example, you could just scroll there and it will show them what they should have written. So really easy. Every lesson, it generates new words for you. And all you need to do is change that yellow box up there. Okay, and then do I still have time for Flippity? I don't know what my time is. Okay, so once you've set up this list, what is great about it, you can then use the same list in Flippity. So, and I've changed it a little bit. So some of you might already know Flippity is a website where you can also paste vocab into a spreadsheet, but they're using Google spreadsheets, and then it generates lots of games with it. Normally, you just put in a small vocab list, I don't know, 20 words or something to make the games. But I've managed to combine the two so that it, again, chooses random questions out of all the hundreds and thousands you've got on there. It will choose only from the topics you've done so far and do it randomly. So you don't have to change it every time. So I'll show you where I've got this now. Here we go. So I'll show you first what you can do on Flippity, because they're quite nice games there. So this is based on 12 random questions out of the topics they've done. So the first thing you get is flashcards. So that might be quite nice to get the students first to practice with the flashcards. So they can do it on their own devices if they got some. So you can just share it at the bottom there. Or you can do it on the board and just go through all the flashcards there. They can practice it. So it's like a little vocab test. They have to write it in. They can do a matching task. So I don't have pets. Oh, can I find this anywhere? Let's go with mustache and, oh, I saw that somewhere, and Schnurrbart, and then it will disappear and so on. But here's the exciting bit. If you go to more.
Well, more excitement.
More excitement.
Exciting enough.
Yes,
the comments we're getting.
That's,
oh, I need this in my life.
So this is even better. Here, I especially love the quiz show. And remember, I've only put in the vocab once, and I didn't have to do anything extra. So just randomly chosen out of all the questions I had up to where we got to. So here we can have, let's have Joe against Helen. Come on, Helen, your team won. What do you want?
I want a heart.
Heart, 100 or 200?
I'll go for 100.
Okay, because it's random, the 100s aren't actually easier than the 200.
Oh, no.
Sorry. Oh. Okay, we are cheeky. Oh, do you know how to say that in German?
Wir sind frech. I think.
Oh, well done. Okay. I forgot to share my sound. Can I still do my sound? You can hear the.
I suppose going, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
We can do that.
Oh well, but it. There you go. So if you could hear my sound, it goes ding ding. So yay. So this one turned red now. So Joe, what would you like?
Cloverleaf, please. 100.
100 green. Mustache.
Une moustache. I don't know German. Can we choose the
language?
language?
Don't know German. Okay, well, I'm afraid
I'll give him that. Can we give him that?
Is that all right?
Get,
it's feminine. It's feminine, isn't it? Moustache is feminine. Une moustache,
no.
I think, isn't it?
So it's ein Schnurrbart.
Could you say what? And what does the sound like, Julia? Go on.
It's like brr.
Right, good. That's
okay.
brilliant.
So this one you can see now. So Helen, you've won 100 points. Joe, I'm afraid you've lost 100 points. And this has turned grey because no one got it right. You can also add, take away teams or add more teams. I think you can have, I think 6 maybe. Can you do? I think 8 is the most you can have.
I think that this is something which we could do, because we do have lots of webinars. We sort these things out. I think we've just got to book you in, Julia, for another full webinar of Julia Morris and all her ideas, because that's brilliant. And lots of questions.
I didn't make any of this. I'm just showing.
Julia, we've had quite a few people in the chat asking about the template for the Excel template. How can we get our hands on it?
Yes, I sent it to Helen. Do you want to share it? The two things?
That's fine. That'd be brilliant.
The first one was on an Excel spreadsheet, and the second one, now you need a Google spreadsheet, but you can just import one into the other. Basically, you can use the same list, so you just need to make it once. So I can just show you what the Google one looks like. So in that Google sheet, you've got tabs at the bottom. So there's one tab called question. So this is where you again paste all your questions, and just like with the other one, don't forget to fill in that yellow box to say to which question you got. It then at the bottom it says quiz 12. So these are the 12 questions it's chosen randomly, which then feeds into that link here, which then takes you to Flippity.
Brilliant.
But it won't refresh it automatically. So what you need to do to get a new set of vocab every time is, well, first check that it's refreshed it here. And if it hasn't, just reload the page. So it should do different ones each time. Here we go. It's loading now. That's technology. Here we go. So here we've got another 12. Now I go back to the link page, and it's important that you can see the formula bar at the top. So if I click on next to the link there, you can see it has quite a long formula at the top. So if you can't see that, and normally I think it's switched off in Google, you just go to view and show formula bar there. You just need to make sure this is on. Now I can see it, and I can just click into it, and I just press enter. It refreshes it. It's now generated a new link. So now when I click on that link again, hopefully it will now show me the next lot of questions. So it's different from the last round now.
Brilliant.
And so some of these games you can print out. So if you, I don't know, haven't got a whiteboard or want them to do it themselves. So there is, for example, so word scramble, a crossword you can print out a quiz as well. I mean, brilliant. This specific spreadsheet is set up so it's always just 12 questions, but you can download other ones from the Flippity website where you can add lots.
Brilliant. You have absolutely sold it. Got fantastic comments there. So that's really, really good. So thank you ever so much, Julia. Really good. So people can applaud. Lovely. And so the next person up is, oh, sorry.
How do I unshare it now? Now I need to work it out.
Yeah.
Unless it's sharing. It just says new share. How did you turn yours off?
Well, somebody else did it for me, I think, because I didn't do it in the end. So I think possibly if somebody else starts sharing, then
okay, we'll try it out.
Yes. Let me have a look. View options. Stop participant sharing. That might be everybody sharing though, which I don't want to do. So the next person up is Adeline. So.
Hi. Shall I try and share my screen then?
Try and share, and I think that might just take over then.
Yeah, see.
It says I can't share while the other participants.
No, see,
right, Julia. I think what we're going to have to do is if we, I can stop.
Yeah, no, I found it now. Sorry.
All right.
Found it.
Right. So is it stop sharing it on the top toolbar?
Yeah, it does. It's just quite small and yeah.
All right, we're not used to this.
Got it now.
How many screens have you got, Julia?
I did all this in just one.
Okay, so next we've got Adeline, and after that will be Esmeralda, after that Esther, after that Vanda, after that Lisa, then Laura, then Nick. Okay.
Okay, so let me try and share. Yep. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I teach French in a prep school, so I teach younger pupils from year 5 to year 8, and I don't think I'm going to match the excitement of Julia's presentation there, but I'm going to show you how I use OneNote and also learning apps, particularly for my lower ability. So we set from year 5 onwards in my school. So we end up with, we're not selective, we end up with a low ability set in each year group, who often have additional learning needs. And I've found since lockdown that OneNote particularly is brilliant to help these pupils. So this is an example of a page from a lesson. So what really helps these children is, for instance, the ability to change the color of the background there, so it's not stark white. There is also, I'm not going to show everything, but there's also they can use an Immersive Reader, which in all Microsoft products, but to read the instructions out to them. You can also really easily insert audio, so you can insert a recording of you telling them what they have to do, which again for some children is helpful. I can embed, so all my links here, there's a link to a Quizlet set that they might need to help them. That can all be on the same page for them. What I really like, particularly with my younger ones, so my year 5 and 6, is I'm in control of what their exercise book looks like, basically. So we've gone paperless just since September. They've all got devices, so that's their exercise book. And where in previous years, particularly the children who struggle a bit more, they'd have bits of paper sticking out all over their book. They'd be losing bits and bobs, not sticking stuff in the right place and everything. That's all gone because I can just set it all up for them in advance in their notebook. So examples of activities you can do, for instance, this one, I've fixed all the phrases on the left, but the ones on the right, they can move around. So where normally they would have had to cut out all these bits of papers and stuck them in, they now just have to move the things to go, on peut faire des courses au supermarché, on peut faire du patin à glace à la patinoire, etc. So I'm saving a lot of time. I mean, with year 5, they're only 9 when they start year 5. You could easily waste half a 30-minute lesson with them sticking things in their book. So I'm saving lots of time that way. Other things that used to take forever is when they had to draw a table. And so now I can just have the table inserted already in their class notebook. So that's another example of a lesson I did last week, where this is the grammar we were going over, and then we discussed that at length. And then they had an exercise there where there's a table that's ready for them. It's color coded, which they really like. They've got the words at the top here, which they need to insert in the right column. And potentially they could just copy and paste the word they needed and put it in there. Actually, my class decided they wanted to type, so they typed it in, but they had the option of doing that. So that's OneNote. Well, we're lucky that we have one-to-one devices now, so that's basically our exercise books. And then I just want to talk a little bit about learning apps. I learned about learning apps from Esmeralda, who's coming after me, in one of the amazing Tilt webinar that Helen and Joe organized all the way since March, which is basically how I learned all that I do now. And learning apps, so I've been using lots of these new things that I've learned, but learning apps is the one I keep coming back to and that I use, not in every lesson, but quite a lot, because it's just really, really easy to put together. It's you don't need to have an account, so I'll bring up a few. You do have an account, but it's free. The children don't need to have an account. I think you can set up classes. I actually haven't done that because, again, with younger learners, they'll forget their password. It'll take forever to log on. With Learning App, I can just give them a link. They click on the link, they do the task. If I want to see whether they've done it, if I set it as a prep, then I guess they can just take a screenshot of the final screen, for instance. But usually we use it in lesson. You can also use Learning App in class on the interactive whiteboard. So you can do it. I often do it as a group as well as them on their devices. And for my younger learners and the one who find French quite difficult, what's important, what really works, is just lots of repetition. I find, I have to sort of pare down the content, decide, right, this is what I really, really would like them to master, and then find lots of ways of them practicing it, but that's slightly different so that they don't get bored, because often their attention span is not the best. So this was one lesson I did in, let's find that lesson. This was in lockdown, so this was remote teaching. with my year 5 at the time, and we were doing frequency phrases. We'd done a Quizlet Live game at the end of a lesson, and they'd really struggled with these. So for the next lesson, I set up these 3 learning app games. The first one, they had to match the English with the French just as a reading. And when you match them, they disappear. Oh no, these ones don't. They sort of stick together until they're all together, and then you finish. I need to move off. Oh, yeah, there. Then I did the same vocab, but this time with audio. So it's really easy to, you'll have to watch Esmeralda's webinar if you want to see how it works, but it's very, very easy. You don't have to record yourself. You just set it up as audio and it records it in whatever language you like. So this time they had to listen to each clip and match it with the English. And then the last one, same vocab again, was a memory game. So the same vocab, and then they have to match the pairs. So it's 3 activities for the same vocab. Literally took minutes to make, but really, really worked well because for them it's fun. Another thing I did with learning apps, this is for the same group, which are now, they're now year 6. We were doing Where I Live. Again, I decided this is what I want them to know, and I set up 3 gap fill exercises. Let me find that. So that's an example of one. That's the text that I decided I wanted them to eventually produce. Every time they've got, you can make them type, or you can give them a drop-down menu. And then I did the same text 3 times with different gaps each time. I think my inspiration there was Jane Bassnett, actually, who shared that on her blog. And that really worked well because they had initially the first one they found really hard, and then it got easier with number 2, number 3. And then we came back and I got them to translate the text that they just worked on. And finally, in learning apps, there's another one. There's loads of different games you can, or activities you can do, but one of them is you set up groups and then terms that have to be put into groups. So here I need to drag magasin to whether it's feminine or masculine. So and then you just have loads of them. And when you finish, you click that little tick and it tells you if they're correct. If they're wrong, they go red, and then they move them across. And again, in terms of repetition, we did that. And then last week, we advanced a little bit more to learn same vocab, the sort of places in town. They were getting really good at knowing whether they were masculine or feminine. So then the next step was how you say to the swimming pool or at the swimming pool. So same vocabulary this time, dragging to sort of the right. They're pretty much all masculine, we found that. There we go. So another way of sort of inserting repetition, but in a slightly more fun way for them.
That's brilliant. That's really, really good. And I think we do need to have a whole session of you as well, Adeline, because you've got so many things that you can share. That's really good. And I can see that also people are interested in the way that you were presenting that you were doing it through Class Notebook, through OneNote.
Yeah, I'm a complete convert.
Yes,
I was an Apple girl through and through, and now I'm just OneNote all the way.
An Apple girl through and through. And now so thank you very much, Adeline. That was lovely. Okay. So over to Esmeralda now.
Hello.
And I know I'm being rubbish at doing the 5-minute thing, so we ought to probably shorten them a little bit, but it's so good what you're doing, and there's so many people who are just loving this, so I think we probably will be going beyond 6, so don't worry, if you have to leave, we'll be carrying on, and then you can watch it afterwards. So Esmeralda, over to you.
Hello, hi everybody. I'll try really to keep to the 5 minutes. Oh, I'm gonna go really, really fast. Right, so I'm just gonna go through my, if I do my screen, okay. And I'm gonna do share computer. Right, you should be able now to see my screen, is that right?
Yep, and
brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about more retrieval practice. I think it seems to be the theme from tonight. So lovely, because some of the ideas actually already Adeline and Julia have talked about it. So I'm just going to give it, in a different way, and I'm going to add a couple of more ideas that yeah, hopefully people will find useful. So let's see. So there are different ways of doing retrieval practice with IT. These are my favorite ones. I will also add Flippity. I only wanted to talk about 4 of them. So at the end, I decided to go for vocabulary learning because I knew Julia was going to talk about Flippity today. And so yes, let's start it. The first one I'm going to show is quizzes. So why quizzes? I'm going to give you an example. One of the reasons why I like quizzes is because it's not just multiple choice. I don't have anything against Kahoot, but everything is multiple choice, which I don't like. While in quizzes, you got the option of having open questions and having also, if you want as well, the option of multiple choice. But I like the option question, the open questions, which will look like this for the student. So you basically create, I'm not going to go through how to create that because otherwise it would take us a little bit longer, but you just basically open an account with quizzes. And then the free account before they used to allow you to record your voice. I don't think it does now, it's a little bit naughty, but basically it's not very expensive. You want to add your voice into the quiz. And this is basically how it looks for the kids. And this is how I do it in the lessons. So hopefully you will hear.
¿Cuáles son las ventajas y desventajas de usar el coche?
So what I do is I create my quiz with all the questions I want the kids basically to practice. This would be not in the practice stage of the learning, but at the end when we've done topic for a long time, and then the kids listen to the question and they just write here open question, all the things they want to basically to say. You can set up how long you want the kids to write for. 45 seconds, 1 minute, up to 3 minutes. You can choose 5 minutes. You want them to write a long sentence. What I find that this works very well is that before they're doing the oral practice, especially for low ability kids, by doing this way and giving them the chance to write things down, first, it really increases their confidence. The kids then go to submit, and then it goes to the second question, and then over and over again. So that's just question.
¿Dónde fuiste de vacaciones el año pasado?
And the same thing, because it's an open.
¿Dónde fuiste de vacaciones?
Because this is an open question, quizzes won't be able to mark it for you. But I don't care. I don't want this to be a test. I want the kids to take responsibility for their own learning, and I want them to practice responsibly. So I don't really matter. I don't really care at this point if there are mistakes for when they write. I want them to increase their confidence and to remember things from other lessons. So that's one of my first ones to do. The reason why I'm including in the retrieval practice is because with the quizzes you can include vocabulary, questions, it could be translations. The way I do it as well is that when you record your voice, it could be a dictation. So they need to dictate, basically write down exactly what you're saying. So that becomes a listening. It could be a translation. They listen to you and they write it down, or it could be in the completely free version. You just write down in English and they translate into Spanish or the way around. A little bit like you would do with Quizlet, but not just words. I like it at this point, put it into sentences basically. The other one I'm going to go through is learning apps. I mean, Adeline's already explained it really, really well. I love learning apps. I think I could see that people were saying how many people use it, which is fantastic. I started using this like a couple of years ago, but then it didn't become really, really important to me until the lockdown. And then when the lockdown came, it's like, oh my God, this is absolutely fantastic. And it saved really my life during the 3 months that we didn't have lessons. Basically, you got lots of different activities. You got to create up lots of them. These are my favorite ones. When you do a crossword, you may think, oh, it's just a crossword. But look what I do is I do this for verbs. So, for example, or sentences like here, my brother went shopping and I gave them the initials. So that was for a button set year 8 lesson. So the kids just need to basically translate that into Spanish. At the end, what they did is that they get like completed tasks, and I asked the kids to take a photo, and I use OneNote like Adeline does, and then the kids just basically put a photo whatever they've done, so I know they've done it. I love it because I just can share it, and the kids don't need to have an account. So you got all this here basically to share it. So, or you can embed it, which is brilliant because then you can embed it as well with Genially, which I think is quite cool. There are a lot of other one that I think is brilliant, a little bit like quizzes, is the dictation bit. Here it does text to speech, so the only thing you need to do is to you write down your sentence and it will automatically say in Spanish. Adeline showed us a very lovely activity which it was matching, which is really good. This is basically, this is I think this was a dictation.
Fui de vacaciones a España.
So you can see the way it sounds, which I think is really good because it's quite fast and it's different from the way I speak. Then they can go to the I, and then again they put the initials, and then what they need to do is just read the vacaciones. Sorry, I think I've got this one, España. And if it's wrong, straight away, if they go here, it will say straight away if it's right or it's wrong. At the moment, Spain is not correctly done, so it indicates automatic basically feedback for the kids, which I think is quite good. So that's a really good one. Match the images Adeline has showed you, so I'm not going to go through that. And then you got the translation bit, which is the same thing. A lot of retrieval practice. I go back to past topics all the time. I always like giving them the initial. I think that's very important, just to give them the initial to the kids, because that really gives them, or sometimes a little bit of help then. So that would be learning apps for you. The other one I love then is Genially. And Maria Aliroa, who I think is here, basically she's an expert, also Julia, and there is a lot of help from them on how to do this in a really amazing way. I'm not as good as they are at all with Genially, but what I do with Genially is that they have got some free templates, and the free templates for me, they are good enough. They're absolutely fantastic. So for example, in this moment that we can use proper boards, we can have something like a snakes and ladders digitally. So this is already from Genially. It comes with the dice. It comes up to with 5 people that you can have. And every time you come to this little thing there, can you see the kids need to do something? So the only thing you need to do is to basically add the information that you want in every little circle. So the whole thing is already there for you. So it takes literally 5-10 minutes. You don't want so many circle things. You can make it smaller. Why is this good for retrieval practice? Because of the same way. This is a very fun way, and this one obviously is a question, but I do a lot of translation, going through the vocabulary. You can look at vocabulary from other topics in a really fun way. The way I do it now, this with the kids, is that they could have a computer between 2 kids. They do it in pairs, and this I did this last week with my 9. So that's a really nice one. Also with Genially, you can also have escape rooms, which are very good. But at the moment, I'm really using a lot some of the board games, because I find them so easy, and the kids absolutely love them. So that's a really
brilliant. Thank you so much.
Okay, sorry, I talked too much. Yeah.
No, you don't. Esmeralda has also, she's already done some lovely webinars for us, and I've always in my mind is that we could perhaps have a little clinic after this. We could get in touch with people to say all those questions where people wanted us to go through it. We could do it. So thank you ever so much, Esmeralda.
Really, sorry, I thought
really
it was a minute.
No, lovely.
I apologize.
No, we're all going. I do it too. So
okay, so
Helen, can I just make a quick comment, Helen, please?
Yes, and
so
Esther, if you can just start sharing your screen, then
that's fine. Can I just mention in the chat when it says all panelists, if you want to click on the drop down menu next to all panelists and choose all panelists and attendees, then everybody in the chat will see it. If you don't change anything and it just says all panelists, it only goes to the 20 people who are the panelists at the moment. Yeah. So you need to choose all panelists and attendees if you want your message to go to the 350 people who are watching live at the moment. So that's really important, if that's okay. Thank you.
Okay, and thank you very much to panelists who I think are up to date now on telling me who's coming next. So we've now got Esther. So 5 minutes from Esther, and then we're going to go straight to Lisa, and then Laura. Okay, thank you.
Okay, I just unmute. Hi, good evening, everybody. I just unmute myself because I always forget to do this, and I'm a disaster with this. My intention is talking about more of retrieve practice as well through Mentimeter, and after that, I kind of like engage the students that being able to speak even more thanks to the breakout rooms from Zoom, for example. I'm teaching in higher education in Cardiff University, and I'm teaching through all the undergraduate program, plus as well, I'm teaching Spanish alongside in a program that it's called Languages for All at Cardiff Uni, and we start from beginners. And that's why we are still using these kind of like games and etc. And even with this, I'm using as well with my undergraduate students. I want to show you Mentimeter. I don't know if any of you already know Mentimeter. For using this, I kind of start torturing yourself or all of you with all the things that you can do with Mentimeter. But I thought that maybe the best thing is that we play together. You can scan this QR code or go to the website menti.com and introduce the code that is 693825 and 8. Okay.
It'd be good to see whether this works with this number of people. Occasionally we get crashes on this, so stay
with us. Well, okay, let me know.
No, it should be fine. I know people have used over 1,000. I've been in a session where there's been 250.
Okay,
so
because
let's just go for it. Let's go for it.
Fab, because now, because I'm just like I'm quite brand new. I'm starts to join in the club of Helen and Joe, and I have more than one screen now. That's why. Hey, that's why I'm gonna stop sharing the screen, and I'm gonna share another screen that it has the Mentimeter.
Hey.
I don't know. It's like I didn't do just a second that it's a screen number 2. Yeah, it's quite amazing. It's like goof. It's a change. It's a change of life.
That is just a brilliant slide.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
It's like, okay, that it's like, if we are ready for Mentimeter, okay, I hope that we start to be ready. And I want to show you how we can do, for example, retrieval practice with our students. You know, it's like, I want to ask you how you're feeling if we have to go in a paperless classroom. How do you feel in the option 1 or 2? And it's because I want to show you that we can use these kind of small questions, and you can put even more and as like, I don't know, like a start activity or a kind of like review or wrap at the end of the session or whatever we think that we can do, or maybe like a surprise, a small formative exam, because it's another thing that I'm going to show you, because the students can have like immediate feedback with all the questions that you have, and we can have like open-ended questions, we can have like bubbles, we can do a quiz as well, and the students, they kind of start to compete against one to each other. And that's a good thing. It's like you're gonna still show to them like the computer screen, and they have to use the phone, and it's a good use for their phones. And if we don't want that they're using the phone, they kind of still use with the desktops, okay? And one of the interesting things is that Mentimeter, it's free, okay? It's completely free. The only thing, it's like if you don't have the premium version, for example, it's that now I want to ask you which one is your favorite online tool, because you're going to see another way to use, for example, another way to use one of the questions on Mentimeter. And the thing is, like, you can have premium version or free version. The free version, you don't have limit on the presentation that you're going to use. The only limit that you have is 2 questions plus 5 quiz questions. That's the thing that after that we can do like a small kind of like start activities or retrieve activities or even formative exams that the students can have immediate feedback, and you can put those things, you kind of start to put in those things, and I kind of start to asking why you prefer Flippity and not Quizlet and things like that. And you kind of start that the student starts to speaking. And one of the good things is like, no matters if someone's doing a spelling mistake or not, because it's completely anonymous. The students that they are more shy, they don't have to feeling that, oh gosh, everybody's seen my mistake or things like that, okay? And that is one of the questions that I'm normally using for giving to them the chance to give some kind of a small writing formative assessment, because the thing that we're doing normally, it's like when we are practicing about reading comprehension, we're putting like some kind of open questions that they have to write like a couple of sentences. We give to them immediate feedback to the students from first year that starts beginners as a Spanish beginners undergraduate program. And at the same time, I'm starts to asking to them, why you put this and not that? Are you agree with your classmate that it's doing this or that? And we start to talking with this. And I think that it's one of the interesting things that the students can still be kind of like protect, because they are still to be quite anonymously, working anonymously, and they don't have to feeling like pushing that they have to do too many things at the same time, no? And the other thing that I want to show you really fast, it's like I put here, for example, what I'm thinking like about how easy it's to use like Mentimeter, a kind of like screen slides about a shot about the pros and cons to having the premium or the free. And if you can see, the only question, it's like the interaction limit, that's it. And now good news, just 3 weeks ago, Mentimeter left to you to embed videos and audios, like video YouTubes that you can analyze with the classroom that before you couldn't. Another thing that I'm using, for example, I want to show you how to use breakout rooms in Zoom. That sometimes we think it's like, I'm not going to be able to control my students when I'm going in a breakout room. That was, for example, a kind of like icebreaker activity. I put to them a video, and after that, I decided that day, because it was the first day of the class, of the lessons, that anybody was meeting one to each other. They never met before. I decided to Zoom that choose the breakout rooms, assign yourself the breakout rooms. And I didn't feel guilty about putting anybody in some kind of room. And after that, each room, they have assigned one question. And after that, they should do practicing one to each other with this, writing something. And later on, we should to put all together, like in front of the classroom when we come back to join the main room. For example, another way to use the breakout rooms, I did in another way that after that, I asked to the students, like, choose one of those symbols, choose one of these. And it was the way after that to put them in different breakout rooms, because on the screens, on the small Zoom screens, you can see which code they use. Or even if you click to the participants gap, you can see what symbol they can use. And they had assigned that task. Each one of them, they had assigned a different task. And as well, I sent to them a shared document, and I wanted that they do some exercises following those kind of like questions that they should to have, and they should do some exercises and a tiny small presentation that after that they had to share with the classmates that they have on that moment. That's one of the things. And the last one, if someone doesn't know it, one of the things that we use more often is as well a free tool that I think that it's amazing, that it's, let me see if I left open or not. Well, it's Flipgrid. I just want to say, it's like, just say like Flipgrid. That's really easy to use. You can use through your Google. And after that, it's a way to give to them immediate feedback for the speaking. And they can engage really easily because they can record from the phone, the desktop, and they only have to use a code that you send to them. And that's it.
That's lovely. Well done. I can see all the thumbs up as well on Flipgrid. So lovely. Yes. Thank you ever so much. And now we've got Lisa, and I've got written that you're doing Grey of the Day.
It's called Grey of the Day.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, so I think I've got it all.
And by the way, I am realizing we are definitely going to go beyond 6 o'clock. So, you know, I think you can see that we'll keep going. And if you have to leave, you'll be able to watch it later. Thank you very much, Lisa. Over to you.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay. Oh my goodness. Just hold on a second. All my slides disappeared. Okay. I had the slides all up. Can someone else go first? I'll look for my slides again.
Yeah. Okay. So Nick, no, sorry, who's number 7? Laura, are you ready there, Laura? Laura Cowser? No, I can see your screen there.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm ready.
You're ready.
It's a while since I've used Zoom. I'm a Teams girl.
Okay. So we've had an Apple girl who's become a Teams girl.
Yeah, Teams and OneNote girl over here. Yeah, I'm just going to show you something that I found really, really helpful as someone who loves using mini whiteboards. And in Dubai, we brought the Easter holidays 2 weeks early, and we basically had 2 weeks to get ready for full online lessons. And since then, we're now back in school. We've got some students completely face-to-face. We've got some doing blended. So we've got half a class at home, half a class in school, and some doing full online. So we've got quite a mix. But as a huge fan of mini whiteboards, I found that Spiral has been such a helpful platform for me. You can get a free account, which gives you access to what I'm going to show you today, which is Quickfire Lite. But the other things here at the top as well that hopefully you can see, they're available with a paid account, which I think is $50 for the year. Some of them do look like they'd be great for MFL. So as you can see, the Clip one you basically find a clip on YouTube and you can pause the video wherever you want, and it will come up with questions and things to ask the students. So I am going to look into a paid account at some point, but the free account is what I'm using at the moment. So Quickfire Lite is perfect, I think, for translation activities and things like that. So it's really quick to set up. So I'm just going to add a new class. So I can just put a language show. We'll do French and just save. Now I'm going to ask, if you don't mind, some of you to join, but it may not take quite as many people as Esther did with Mentimeter. So if I just click go, your classes can join really, really easily. So you just go on to gospiral.ac and you use the code which is here, and the code stays the same every single time that you use it for this class. So if I could get just maybe 10, 15 people sign on, and I can show you how it works. So it's just gospiral.ac and you type in the code, which is UEWDD, all capital letters. Perfect. Excellent. So one thing I have found is that some students are slower to join than others, as always happens with these types of apps. What's great is if I click go, other people can still join. So basically, as soon as you click go, you then just give a spoken task that you want the students to do. So if I could ask you to do a sentence translation for me, let's just do, I'd love to go to the cinema in French. And if one or two of you could try and be a student who's maybe going to get an incorrect answer, that would be particularly helpful for the demonstration. So I'd love to go to the cinema. Now, what I really love about Spiral is that unlike other mini whiteboard activities online, I can keep the answers hidden for as long as I want. So the students aren't kind of seeing other people. When you've got handwritten ones, often really good to the students straight away. I can choose to reveal the answers whenever I like. So if we just have a look at some of the answers. No idea. So what happens is, at the moment, it's anonymous. Okay, if I wanted to show the answers, I can click show names and it will reveal for me who the students are. Or as I said, I can just keep it anonymous. Now, what is really good about the website, and all of you have been the student, I think, who does the answers wrong. Oh, here we are, perfect. So as you can see, what it does is that any answers that are written exactly the same, it groups by color. So if I now click correct for one of these, it will correct them for all of those students who have the exact same answer, which is great. Really makes it easier in class. Additionally, what I can do is if I see an answer that maybe has a mistake, like this one, I can click and I can spotlight an answer. As I've left it anonymous, I find it's really helpful then because students don't feel like they're being picked on or anything, but you can then address some misconceptions. So what is the wrong with this one? And I can then send it back to students to improve if I want to. So if I just send a few back, you can see it goes back to the students and they can then improve the answers. Okay, hopefully that makes sense to everyone. Now, once you've finished with one, you can then scroll back up the top. You can ask another question. All you do is ask it, click go again, and you're on to the next round. What's great about this, I think, as well, is if I just click finish here, so you can do this obviously as much as you want. It's great for addressing misconceptions, as I said. And then at the end of the activity, you can basically see how students have answered. So I could look by question. So if we've done this for, say, 10 sentences, for example, I can pick out afterwards which questions students have found difficult. I can see by student all the different answers they've given, or the grades table here at the end is what I usually reveal to the students at the end of the activity. So here it shows you which questions they got right and wrong and the total percentage that they got. But yeah, I've just found it to be an absolute lifesaver for me as an alternative to mini whiteboards. Great for formative assessment. It works online, face-to-face, or blended. And yeah, it's something that I'll definitely be continuing to use in the future, I think.
Brilliant. Really, really good. I mean, this is a really good exercise for opinions and justifications here. Everybody is giving loads and loads of brilliant, amazing, wow, ever so good. Thank you so much. That's lovely.
No problem. Thank you.
So yep, round of applause. So Lisa, have you retrieved your PowerPoint now? Oh, lovely. The price of beauty. So at the moment we can't hear you, Lisa. We'll see you.
Hold on a second. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we
Okay.
can. Brilliant.
Okay, perfect. I'll go over the concept. It's actually called Grey of the Day, and I actually heard about it from a Swedish teacher named Mikael Hermansson. And Grey of the Day, Grey, I think, means one thing a day. And what he wanted to do in his class was he wanted to, I guess, pique the curiosity of the kids. So he does something called the Grey of the Day, which is a mini lesson that is supposed to last between 8 to 10 minutes long. And what I really, really love about this idea is that it can be used by any teacher, regardless of the grade, regardless of whatever subject they're teaching.
Mhm.
And I'm just going to go through the slides so that I get there on time. And so how you would start off with the Grey of the Day is a 3-step system. The first step is you would start off with a clue. This one kind of ruins it because you can see what it is, but I would ask, and I would start with the kids and be like, okay, the price of beauty, what could I be thinking about? And some kids might think about cosmetics. Others might come up with something along the lines of maybe Korean, or the beauty, travel beauty. There's so many senses. And you would give this to the kids the day before you start the Grey of the Day. And then during the Grey of the Day, the mini lesson, you have slides and you want to have as minimal words on your slides as possible. So this is my second slide, which I gave to them. And what I have done is I've put up the difference between fake makeup or real makeup. And the topic that I had chosen was counterfeit makeup. So the kids would have to take a minute and they take a look and think, okay, which one is the real one? Which one is the fake one? And see if they could tell the difference. I've got all of this to share, I think, on the file. And then from there, we talk about the ingredients and why it's important to buy real makeup and authentic makeup rather than your inauthentic ones, because mostly these are what you see is in terms of a paper clip. These are actually rat droppings that they put in. The largest amount of makeup, I think the counterfeit makeup they had said comes from mainland China. And this gets mixed up into the counterfeit makeup. And some of them, I think they were lead. And we talked about how lead could cause to brain damage, memory issues, and kidney issues. And this one is arsenic and how arsenic could contribute to cancer, the health risks, everything. And I think it was even to the point where we spoke about, I think there was a doctor that was analyzing it in the States, and I can't remember which clinic she was with, but she had talked about how when they analyzed it, there were some cases of even horse urine in there that was mixed in. And then we talked about what complications it could come in. And these cases are from people who have had allergies because of these fake makeup. And I like this case here because this was an American lady who wanted to buy the Kylie Minogue makeup. And she couldn't get it because every time she'd go and go and go, and because of the whole supply demand, they only put a limited amount. What happened was she ended up buying a fake one, a counterfeit one online, and she put it on, and within half an hour, her lips were glued together. She couldn't open them up. She had to use, I think it was nail polish remover, as well as butter to get her lips to pry open again. And when they did the analysis on it, it was because of the super glue and the dangers of it. And then we ended up with, so first part, just to review, is a clue that you give the students a day before. The second part is the main idea. It's up to you as a teacher what you would like to include in your slides. And the third part right now is kind of like a wow factor. So the wow fact that I have down for the counterfeit makeup is that in Long Beach, California, they want to stop the counterfeit makeup coming in, but they have 5.1 million containers that come in every year, and it's one of the largest ports throughout the world. And that makes it, when you do all the calculations, that's every 5 to 6 seconds they've got a shipping container coming in. So there's no possible way they can stop it. And then we talked about, what consumers can do in order to not do the makeup, I guess, not buy counterfeit makeup. And I think, that's about it.
That's great. I think what you've done is that you've shown us because certainly something that people are talking about a lot is how we can make it so that we're talking about real things with the children rather than just, sometimes we want to do drills, but sometimes there are things that you can introduce which they really want to talk about. And I've noticed that in the talks, in the comments, people are talking how we could use that, yes, with our PSHE, certainly with our A-level students as well, where you are developing something, and certainly you've made us all think as well. Not that I buy any of this stuff anyway, as you might be able to tell, but thank you ever so much. That's really, really helpful.
You're welcome. So I've put in I think the Expel worksheet. I've done a video on it, and then ideas on a handout that I've done on how to get started. So there's clues, there's word plays, because that's where I struggled when I first started. And then I've also put on the links for I think the slide presentation itself, as well as full lesson plans. So
that's really generous of you. Thank you very much. That's lovely. Sorry, I came in a bit too soon there. I didn't know.
Oh, no, you're welcome. I want to make sure I stick to the 5 minutes because I know there's other people.
You're great. Thank you ever so much. Okay, so next up we have got Nick Mare. You're going to do some tricks, Nick.
Hi. It all looks a bit dark here, but it's going to hopefully get a little bit lighter in the future. Look, this really comes about because I was getting really worried about pupils' performance in the GCSE oral. And there's two things there. Firstly, that they were so worried that it was impinging on performance. And secondly, even though we've kind of done this in scaffolding, when they got worried, they were making a real mess of tenses. And that's the thing that's going to kind of get you through GCSE. So typically to weaker pupils, you say, put all of these verbs in the passé composé and they get them all right. And then you try and get them say, tomorrow I'm going to do this. And yes, and when you start mixing multiple tenses, then when the stress on top of that, they get the equivalent of tomorrow I went. And that's a killer in GCSE and indeed pretty much any level. So really what I tried to do is to get them to pretend they're TV presenters or just TikTok or whatever it is, and they're going to present something to camera, but they've got the stress of doing it in real time and you video them, so much so that that's your assessment. So instead of giving them the right written test, you get them to actually perform it in real time. And I think that works well. So that's the general concept. I'm really a secondary school teacher, but I've been teaching some primary, and this is the version of this in this particular thing that's kind of I've done with year 5. But frankly, you could probably go to year 9 with weaker sets, whatever. So key concept is get them to do something to camera they want to do. And so that when they get to the oral, they're used to doing it in real time, and that's it. So when I do this, you're going to start watching it all, but I want you to think about, in this presentation, the language is il y a, c'est, past, present, future, facts and opinion, and a negative. So I've really scaffolded those things, and those happen to be the things I've taught in my year 5 class so far. So here we are. This is just going to try and do the angle. So I'm going to slightly disappear from view here. But here you go. Right, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Je me présente. Je m'appelle Nicolas. Je vais présenter une illusion. C'est pas compliqué, c'est amusant. Il y a 3 tasses, il y a 3 papiers. Je place les tasses. Je vais placer le papier sur la tasse. Je place le papier sur la tasse. J'ai placé le papier sur la tasse. Je place la tasse sur les tasses. Je tape et voilà. Yeah.
Oh là là.
Les tasses. Je vais placer, je place, j'ai placé. You can see where that's coming. Je place la tasse sur la tasse. Je tape, etc. Okay, so since I can't actually stomach magic myself, you need to know that there's a 4th one in the middle cup, right? So it's not one of these things where some guy goes, admire my brilliance. This is really the whole thing. I'm going to present this at 11 o'clock tomorrow, but the whole session is slightly different, and it's entirely teaching you to do it in that session. So it won't be this. I'll tell you this is what you put, etc. But really, just think through that. Is je vais placer, je place, j'ai placé. And there's a physical movement which helps memory. Now, on top of that, there's a real I might even just kind of join you back in the world of the living. On top of that, there's a real cognitive load for kids, because it's like tapping your stomach and tapping your head and counting backwards from 10. So if a kid can do that and present it to TV, you know they've done that and there's some spare. And if you do it in the week before half term or before the end of term, the suckers think it's fun. It'll probably be the single hardest thing they've done in a term. So anyway, that's my bit, and love to hearing everybody else. Yeah, see you whenever. Bye.
Lovely, thank you very much. And it's also sparked off in the chat about, you know, how really it is fine to do things away from the textbook and away from what you normally do. Fun like that, people like it. Lovely. So now I think we have got Rachel Hawkes.
Ooh. Oh dear. Okay.
You've been busy today, Rachel, haven't you?
Yeah.
And
Well,
while Rachel is finding her things, just to say, you must really sign up. She's doing a couple of webinars coming up on the 5th and 12th of December in aid of your charity, aren't you, Rachel? So it'd be great for people to sign up for those.
I am. I'm hoping you can all see a screen with a version of O Tannenbaum on it.
We can.
Okay. So that, yeah, this I really will keep to 5 minutes. This will be very quick. I just wanted to do a quick spot about culture and combining and integrating culture with vocabulary and phonics and grammar, but we're not going to get to the grammar bit. And then finish up by showing you a really cool tool that I hope you will all be using very, very soon. So I'm sure most of you know, even if you don't learn German, of a very famous Christmas carol, O Tannenbaum. Here I've just started with the first verse, and we're using it to reactivate our phonics knowledge, the difficult pairing of E and I, shown on the right-hand side with their key source words. So we'll just listen to it, and students will write down which pair they're hearing, so which of these minimal pairs, IE or EI, and then we would obviously check the answers for that. But I was helping.
Sorry.
You're right, Joe. I was helping my my son today because he was asked to, or he's been asked to do a comparative an essay on comparative literature, and he was having difficulty just getting into the whole concept of how to say why comparative literature is a really, really effective thing to do. So this is his first big assignment for university. And in the end, this is why this example is being shown now. I had this come to mind because on the left-hand side, you have the traditional version of O Tannenbaum, and on the right-hand side, you have a 1984 version written by Hans Weigel, who is an Austrian essayist and satirist, and he published this poem entitled Requiem für einen Baum. And as you can see, by just changing very, very slightly and very few of the words, he's actually ended up very concisely and very neatly providing a criticism on our time and some worrying, some cause for reflection on what we're doing to the environment. And that's very, very much more neatly done and much more powerfully done than a whole essay would have accomplished. And so obviously this is something that students can understand, or can they? How do we know when we choose a text that we think is going to be so rich for the language classroom? How do we know how accessible it is, how readable it is? Don't we need tools for that? Are we going to go through and count up individually how many words they know? Or could it be useful to have something like a language profiler where you just input the text and it automatically tells you how many of the words are in the top 2,000 most frequently used words in the language. Just at a click of a button, you click profile text, it highlights in orange for you which words are not in the top 2,000, and you have a look at those and decide, therefore, are you going to gloss those words? Well, in this case, yes, because I do really want to teach this text. Why has it highlighted in orange Sommerzeit? Well, that's because it's a compound noun, but I will then know that Sommer is probably in the top 2,000 and so is Zeit, and I could separate them out here because you can edit within the bar and just have a look whether they might have learnt those words. So at the click of a button, you can change your text. So if I were getting an article from the internet, I would copy and paste the text in, have a look at how accessible it was to learners, how many of the top 2,000 words are in it, and make my edits rather than doing this by hand. It is a free tool. It is going to be launched at the NSELP conference on November the 20th, which is just next Friday. You can see on the right hand side, there's a link there to that conference. You just need to sign up. It's absolutely free. If you can't attend the actual session, you can listen back to it afterwards. You'll be shown how to, all the ins and outs of this multilingual profiler. I anticipate that every language teacher will want to use it. It is one of the most exciting things ever. And yes, do please join for more examples of culture and cultural capital in the language classroom, which as Helen said, is on the 5th of December and the other one on the 12th of December. So I have tweeted about them already. I'm sure I'll tweet again. And that's how you can get links to sign up, I think. Or you can go to ALL London. Can you, Helen? Is there a...
But I'm also putting them in the chat. So I've just put the 2 in the chat just now. So you've got the first one. In fact, the second one I didn't say. That's the 12th of December.
That's so kind. That's so kind. And that's me finished. And I'm going to stop sharing.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Brilliant, as always. Lovely. And I know you've been very busy and doing lots of other things today as well. So lovely. And certainly the excitement whenever you see Rachel live getting excited about these word lists where you can find out. It is something which we understand. We understand that. Okay, so now we are with Natasha. Are you ready to share, Natasha? Is Natasha? Oh, yes, you are. I can see you, but we can't hear you at the moment. So we can see you. Yeah.
Now?
Yes, it was sounding a little bit. Right, let's see how we go because the sound's a bit iffy at the moment.
Is that any better?
Oh, good. Yeah.
Is that any better?
Yes.
I turned up the volume. Okay, perfect. What I'm going to say, nothing new as such compared to what we've heard tonight, but I wanted to talk about the power of video. So using video-based tasks to motivate language learners. So video tasks can harness pupil passion for technology, hugely motivational, low prep, so on the teacher, more onus on the pupils. Even the most reluctant language learners happy to speak in the target language. Children not as self-conscious, so links into what Nick was saying with hip-hop task. Was keen to watch each other's, adds another dimension to homework tasks, works well during regular and blended or remote learning. I started off doing these kind of tasks when I was teaching physically in the classroom as I am now, but they also worked really well during remote learning and they're easy to share and celebrate success. So an example I just wanted to show everyone. So when I'm teaching in Spanish, sorry, I'll pause that for a minute. When I'm teaching daily routine in Spanish, I like to use this video. It's just from YouTube. I like to use YouTube in my teaching when I'm teaching with songs, for instance, which the pupils love. And also here I found a YouTube video with a cat talk his daily routine. So pupils loved it, did a comprehension on it, and then many of them wanted to then go away and make their own. So I'm just going to give a little flavour of this video to start with.
So have you shared the sound with your video before you clicked it? Because at the moment we're not hearing the sound.
Okay, not hearing the sound. Okay. So
if you click new share and then click share computer sound. Or
if you just go up to the top and then have a more, and then you can see share computer sound. That's right, and then share computer sound. Oh.
Yeah, it's a Chromebook thing, isn't it?
All right, okay.
It doesn't give me that option. Okay. What about if I share it with Joe or something? Yeah. Okay. Never mind. Bit of a shame, but it doesn't matter.
And can I just establish as well, because you teach in a primary context, don't you?
Well, it's a prep school, so these tasks I do with year 7 and 8. 7, we did this one on daily routine. and year 8 we did one, the Natty video on life in lockdown.
Yeah. So that's something.
Okay.
That,
So the second.
Oh, I was going to say you can send us the link, can't you? And we can put that on the page so that people can look at it.
Yes, absolutely, no problem. And so this one, even if you can't hear it, I'll show you maybe 30 seconds. It's actually one that my daughter made. So she did one with our family dog, and it's just really the children love. They could make it on iMovie or, as someone mentioned earlier, Flipgrid, and I just think it really gives the children an opportunity to talk, because it's not necessarily the skill that they feel most confident with. My daughter used some captions, so you'll get a bit of a flavour for it. So you can't hear that video either, I guess.
Wearing a poppy. So she's talking over this, she and saying what he's doing. This is giving me an idea, definitely.
Yeah, it's a shame you can't find it, but I can, as you say, I can.
Yeah, if you share that with us. And also,
okay, I will do that.
And just to advertise as well that Natasha has actually joined in with Mare on a webinar, which we've got a recording of, so you'll be able to see lots of the ideas there as well. So we can share that, Natasha, on the website as well, to be able to say, have a look at it.
Perfect. And as that didn't work brilliantly because you couldn't hear it, just very quickly, I know some people are asking about websites, so I've used Google Sites to create a departmental website, just in case that's of interest to anyone. So I've got a home page about the languages at the school where I teach. I will show you the ones on teachers, and then the videos that the pupils have created, I've loaded on this website I've created. So the children really love that because they can watch other videos, and they do actually go and watch them. And then I created a page per language. I then could put videos for on different. I've got a grammar page, materials, revision materials, and things like that. So I didn't know. And I'll finish up about the sound issues.
Okay, I think the sound's breaking up a little bit, but we can really definitely see what's happening there. And I think again that's something where we haven't, I don't think, Joe had a particular thing on Google, how to create that. So that might be something that we could do at some point. Lovely, thank you very much indeed, Natasha, and we'll be putting links onto our site to all of your work. That's lovely. So next up we've got, so after Natasha, it is Maria Oliveira. Are you there, Maria? Oh, is it Maria Dio? Was it? I've got Maria Villa using Genially to teach Spanish at Key Stage 2. Perhaps she's left us.
Yeah, Maria was here, but I'm not sure if she's here right now.
Was here. So can I just ask, have we missed anybody out from the panelists who would like to present? Otherwise, we will bring it to a close.
Oh no, Maria's got her hand up. Hang on, promote to panelists.
Oh, good, lovely. Okay, and is there anybody else while we're waiting for Maria to join us? Have we missed anybody out?
Helen, there's one other person called Sarah Cartledge who would be quite happy to just talk for a minute or two.
Yes, that's lovely. So can we promote? So do we know her? Is that right for you, Joe, to promote her?
Yeah, sorry, who was that again? Sorry.
Sarah Cartledge. I put it in the spreadsheet, if that helps.
Right, so Sarah needs to put her hand up. So, well, I can find her, I'm sure.
Sarah Cartledge, if she puts her hand
hang on.
up. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't see that. I hadn't scrolled far enough down, Tanya.
Yeah, I've just added Sarah as well.
Lovely. Okay, so do we have Maria with us? Otherwise, it could be that we ask Sarah to start straight away.
Hi.
Yes, would you like to start, Sarah, and then we'll
do. Yes, it's a very quick one. So it's one of those things that I did a couple of years ago and then forgot about, and then I did it last week and it worked so well. I didn't know why I don't do it all the time. So well, it's fresh in my mind. So it's speaking practice. And let me just find the right screen.
By the way, afterwards it'll be Georgia.
It's on a PowerPoint. So this is a conversation. So I've left it up like this so you can probably see what's going to happen. It's a very simple conversation, and they did it in pairs. One was blue, one was red. So one's asking the questions, one's answering them. And we did it all together first. And then they had to practice on their own in the pairs, swapping blue and red each time. And if I just present it, you'll see how it works. So that's with it all. And then gradually it disappears. So they have to run through the conversation each time with one line missing. When they finish, they put their hands on their head. And then another line disappears. They have to do it again, swap places, and again, and again, and again. And what's interesting is how they stare at the blank screen to remember what they've got to say. So they're obviously visualizing the missing words, which was something I hadn't actually anticipated, but worked really well. And then they asked for volunteers, so who wants to do the whole conversation with the blank screen on the board. And every single hand went up. I mean, they all knew it, because by then they had done the conversation, how many times is it? Probably 3 or 4 times altogether, and then 6 times on their own. And so by the end, they really knew it. So I just thought that that's something that you could probably adapt to most levels for role plays, that kind of thing.
Brilliant.
So that's it.
Yes, a simple idea, but something we all do that, don't we? We all want to make them memorize, and that idea of them visualizing it. Yes.
Yeah. So you see in the PowerPoint, I just duplicated the slide and then deleted a box each time. That was it.
Thank you so much, especially doing it at short notice. So thank you.
No problem. That's fine. That's me done.
Okay, so do we have Maria with us?
I think you got.
Yes, there you are.
Yes,
oh,
we can hear you,
fantastic view there.
Yeah, yeah. I hope that I can zoom. Sorry for.
It's all right. So, what's your idea about genially to teach Spanish at Key Stage 2? Yes.
Yes. Basically, can you see now my?
We can't see your screen. No.
You need to share your screen. If you click on Share Screen at the bottom, the green button, and then select Share Computer Sound on the left-hand side if you want to share audio.
Can you see now my?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, lovely.
Okay. Well, first of all, I would like to thank all of you, because I've been taking ideas from all of you, so I cannot take the credits for myself. I've been attending all the webinars possible that I could, and thanks to you, so I got this. And what I like to share is my routines, because in this page I could integrate for example, I got the lessons that I'm gonna teach for year 6, I teach in primary school, as you can see. I got the years 5. What I do is I know that it's very important for children to know to get routines and to be able to say things like, for example, KDS, OI. And what I notice is that with technology, they can become more engaged. And after doing more repetitions and some repetitions, I could notice now that without this screen, I can actually ask the question and they can answer me without any help, as you can see. And also, I don't know, I'm going to do. For example, I can tell them que fecha es hoy. They can just move, en qué mes estamos. So I can do a lot of repetition and revisit the different topics. They can drag and I can invite some of them. And the most important thing is that I can send this presentation and we can post it in the platform that the school use. In the case the child is sick, or in the case that the children cannot attend the lessons. So we have, I've been using this application, and I could say that I am very happy, because now I cannot have, I don't have my own room, because I used to have my Spanish room, and I could have all my posters, everything, but now, so in order my children to have everything visualized, so I got Genially, and I can integrate, I can put, for example, quiz, different tasks or different YouTube, access to YouTube straight away, do some singing. I can incorporate all these elements and that in other situation could be a little bit difficult for me because I have to move from room to room. So, for example, and also I can show them, for example, if I want to give tasks, I can incorporate this roulette, la ruleta, which is very good. And I can see the name, as you can see. So I think that generally is offering me a lot of opportunity because I can integrate different tasks. And for example, I got the year 6, I can have today's lessons, lesson plans, video songs. So it's a little bit, for example, I think that I have, for example, I can show them what we were doing or what we did in other years, for example, here. So we can see what they've been doing, all the activities that we've been doing. So everything is integrated in these applications, and I don't have to have a lot of paper. And I have, for example, also this lovely story. So I am very happy, and I have to say thank you as well to Marie Olivier because she was the one who introduced me to the fantastic world of journaling, and of course all branch, and also Joe Dale, because there are a lot of webinars that I've been attending, and just is fantastic. So I can see my timetable as well. As you can see, I have everything ready. If I have to use any dictionary online, I can have any the dictionaries. I can also play games. So there are a lot of activities that we can have only in one page, so we don't need to have a lot of paper. And yes, and I think that is what I wanted to share. And I wanted mostly to say thank you. I never have the chance to say thank you personally, and now I am having this opportunity.
Well, thank you so much. And really, it is something where it is teachers helping teachers throughout, isn't it? I think
I am happy to share the template with everybody, and
yeah,
they can adapt it, they can reuse it, and whatever they would like to do.
That would be great. So what I've said to all of the panelists is if you send me links, because I think with the number of people, we've still got 251 still here, even though we've, it would be quite a lot for the presenters to have to be in contact with everybody, unless presenters particularly want that. But otherwise, I'm happy to take all of it and then put it onto our AWL London website. And then
yes, I'm going to send you the links and the template, all the presentations, so you can see more in detail. You can follow the links, and you can see how is structured the lesson plans, because now we don't have time, just I had to rush.
Yeah, no, this is lovely. And I think particularly at the moment where so many of us in this position, sharing resources is lovely. And the lovely comments there on your work there, how professional it looks and how engaging it'll be for the children. So thank you very, very much indeed. Really, really
thank you.
lovely. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to stop to share now.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maria. That was great.
And then we have one last person, I think, who said that they wanted to share, Georgia. And then I don't think there's anybody else, unless anybody wants to pipe up now and say. So Georgia, are you there?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, it'll be very quick and nowhere near as exciting as what everyone else has been sharing. But after Jill Dale's presentation earlier today, when he was talking about emojis, I did mention something that I use, and some people asked about it. So just show something that you can do to save a bit of time in the long run. So this is my sort of master slide. So if you go to, this is my very old version of PowerPoint I have in my own computer here, so never mind. If you go view and then slide master, then if you haven't done this, it will take a little bit of time at the beginning, but then it will save you a lot of time in the long run. So you can create, when you create your presentation, you can save them as a master slide. And then I have here the, so this is like my title. So the date changes automatically, already has title, objective, everything. So whenever I start a new PowerPoint, that comes automatically, so I don't have to change that. And then I have one there already for homework, and this one when they make mistakes, and then that's where the one I use. If we're doing one, what they dice, and then I have my face there. And then all of those lovely ideas that I have shamelessly stolen from MFL Twitterati. And, you take a lot of time creating those templates, and then, you just have to keep creating them again. So this way, they're always there available for you. And some new ideas there. And then there's one for feedback, one for then they have to do their own ones. And this, I have my Bitmojis for the different skills. So when they see that at the top, they know it's a speaking task. This one, they know it's going to be a translation task, writing, group work, reading, listening, etc. This is also the one for grammar points, and then just some there. And then once you've created that, so when you have your new slides, you just need to go layout, and then they're all there. And then you just choose, okay, we're going to do a speaking task, and then that's automatically there with the layout. And then you just, change whatever you want to do. So I'm happy to share that if people want. It's just a way that can save you a little bit of time, creating your slides. Because I know we have all these lovely things that we can use on websites, but I'm still using a lot of PowerPoints, and I think a lot of people are as well. So that's it.
The reaction is fantastic there. I don't know whether you're like me. I go along sometimes to live things on YouTube, and you see all of these comments, loads and loads of comments out saying, wow, fantastic, lovely. So thank you ever so much, Georgia.
Georgia, would it be possible to show us how to do the auto date? Would that be quick to do in PowerPoint?
Oh, yeah.
Because I can remember doing that years ago in Word. So every time I loaded the Word document for that day, it had the date in French automatically. If you could show us, that'd be great.
If you select the date, then you go insert date and time. And then this one is a very old PowerPoint, as you can see, but you can just change that whichever way you want. I always have the full one, and then you just make sure you tick update automatically, and then every time you load that PowerPoint, it will have the correct date, so you're not shamelessly showing your students that you last taught that lesson 3 years ago.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thank you. That's really useful. Thank you.
No worries.
So I think that's everybody now through. So really, it just remains for us to say thank you so much to all of the presenters. So, I mean, if you want to open up your audio now or video, oh no, we can't do that, can we actually? But if you all you can write, clap, or wow, or fantastic. I mean, we've done that anyway. So those of us who can, we're applauding. Ever so good. And actually, those are people who can. I'll take a little picture of us so that we've got a little class photo. So thanks ever so much. Thank you so much to Joe, who you can see the number of references there are to Joe and the way that he's inspired people, given ideas, and he's still a learner. You can see, as he was saying at the end there, he sort of picks up on things we need to do. So Joe, thank you so much for all you've been doing.
No problem.
Fantastic. Thank you so much to ALL London committee members who've come out in force. And look, Judith's there with her. Do you want to say something to us, Judith? Look at her, she's got her shirt on as well. Nick,
yes, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody, to all the presenters, to everybody who came along, for all for sharing your resources, for all the positive vibes, and please join ALL. And I just want to show the back. Can you see this?
Yes, monolingualism
can be
cured. That's right.
Ooh, together we can do it.
Yes, it's lovely, and we have actually got to buy a few more of those because it's lovely to be having people join us. So absolutely great, and thank you very much to Tanya, who's not showing her face at the moment, but she's been working. Oh, there she is. She's been working in the background putting all of the because this was a system that we've just worked out in the last 6 hours, I think, as to how we're going to do this, and everyone's just managed to come on board and do it. So thank you so much. And we said right at the beginning, and this is being recorded, but we'll just make sure that Jonathan knows how grateful we are that he's given us the opportunity. Hasn't it been amazing? You've just been able to click on something and be there. And we've still got lots and lots of participants here. So have I missed anything out? This is normally the time when I just say to people, have I missed anything out?
I don't think so, but of course we should thank Helen as well for her amazing organisation. So huge round of applause for Helen.
Absolute pleasure, total pleasure. It really was. And we've
the ant to my deck. There we are.
Yeah, that's something which I don't know whether, Julia, you've got that picture or whether we should check, but she did a fantastic picture on Twitter recently about us being the ant and deck of the languages community. But
oh dear.
And then I don't know, Jonathan, whether you want to say anything, but there's more, isn't there, to come tomorrow? There'll be more sessions that people are welcome to sign up on. And Nick, you're giving a session tomorrow. Oh yes, you've opened your mic.
I was just going to say, yes, we've got a full program tomorrow on the language show, and all the videos from today and yesterday from the talks today and yesterday will be up on the website. So if you go click on the talk, and there should be a watch, and indeed this one will be up there within an hour or so. So there's plenty. If you missed some, you can do lots of catch up, and they'll be up there for a month.
And Jonathan, do we have access to the chat as well? Because in fact, at this session, people have been brilliant at giving extra ideas.
I believe the chat is actually recorded with the videos, so you can scroll down it. So if you do want to catch up in the chat, yes, you can see it that way. Good
really
point. Yeah.
I would say thank you to those who presented, but also thanks so much to the participants here, people, the attendees, as you're known here. We've still got 184, well, we've still got over 200 people here. You've just contributed loads by giving people encouragement and then giving extra ideas as well. So definitely we've got material for future webinars, haven't we? So, and I think right at the beginning, I did all the advertising about what's coming up, but what we normally do now is we go to the pub together. And I think somebody did actually mention that and said, so what are we doing now? We deliberately thought actually people might have been quite in front of their screen quite a lot today. So Saturday, December the 12th, you've got Rachel from 3:30 till 5. So nice little cozy session in the afternoon. It'll be getting darker and you'll be listening to Rachel. And then we party at 8 o'clock. We're going to have a Christmas party. Haven't quite decided how we're going to do that or what we're going to do, but there's going to be music, who knows, dancing, but certainly it would be lovely if people would sign up for that.
Maybe there could be karaoke.
Oh yes. That's Rachel's going to be in charge of the karaoke. Okay, so there we've got Rachel offering to do karaoke. I have done that online before. There is a way of doing it. If you're all watching the same source, apparently, we are all in time. So perhaps we can experiment with that. But certainly we must ask Richard from AWL London. He does fantastic little quizzes. So we could do a quiz and we could go into breakout rooms just for, you know, each round could be with different people. That's what we did last time, wasn't it? Worked really well. I tend at this stage, when I watch back, I always think, oh, I just go on and don't let anybody else say anything. Just all excited by it. I think it was really, really good. Thank you very much. So Jonathan, I expect you'll want to have a bit of a rest now before tomorrow. So at any time you need to turn us off.
No, I'm happy to let you run because there's no one in the room after you. But a big thank you on behalf of everyone in the audience to Helen, you and Joe, you for you know, hosting and doing all the work in the preparation and a certain amount of stress in terms of technical prowess and you know, it doesn't always work as we did our run through last night, Helen, and somebody joined us as a guinea pig. It was interesting to see how things were going to work out. And it seems to have worked out brilliantly today. So well done to both of you.
And I think people have been very patient, if anything, if there has been a glitch. But I have to say, we do say at the beginning that we're all going to be kind. Everybody's instructed to be kind. No, thank you ever so much. Okay.
Be kind or else.
Yes.
I love that, Julia.
Right, bath time for my munchkin now.
Half time for your munchkin,
my
right? And I
munchkin.
think I can smell some food. Being my chef has produced something there.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon.
Okay.
Bye for now.
Bye then.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you ever so much.